Hi friends, I'm super excited to show you this tutorial. I created a tutorial with my Amazonian Park Avenue Princess Tarte Bronzer and my Maybelline The Nudes palette. So if you want to see how I achieved this look on my face today, go ahead and keep watching and I hope you guys like it. Alright, so I've already done all of my prepping and BB cream and all of that stuff. I did a video a while back showing how I did that, so I'll leave it down below if you guys want to check it out. I also primed my eyes. I'm using this Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion Anti-Aging. Fun fact for you, I got two of these. These are, I don't know, how big are these? These are 0.13 ounces. I got two of these at Ulta on Black Friday for, I believe, $10, which is a really good deal. So it's far away in the future, but just keep it in mind that they do have those deals for you. So I've already done that, and then I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Color Tattoo. This is in my favorite 70, barely branded. You can tell I have just used this sucker up. And I'm going to go ahead with a flat shader brush from Eco Tools, and I'm just going to put this as a base. Like I mentioned in my review, the Maybelline Nudes really does need to have bases, and I think that these colors work really great. This one is, in general, just like a really good universal color, so I'm just going to go ahead and pat it on the moving part of my eyelid. Okay, now that I have this on here, this is a bit unusual for me, but I have found that it works best with this particular look that I'm doing today with my palette. I'm going to go ahead and do my crease color first, and for that crease, I'm going to go in and use this color right here. It is just this beautiful kind of matte taupey color, and it tends to just look better when I do the crease first versus doing my lid, but you can kind of do it however you want to. And to put it into my crease, I'm using my e.l.f. blending eye brush. So I'm going to go ahead and just pat some in there. There is fallout with this product, so I always just tap it first, and then I pat it into my crease. You'll see with this color that it doesn't really do well with me doing like my typical windshield wiper motions, so I just pat it in. I do it on both sides. And as you can probably see right now, it looks kind of stupid and it looks kind of crazy, but that is the power of blending. I cannot say enough that this palette really requires lots of blending and you can get good looks out of it. So to blend, I'm using this BH Cosmetics blending brush, and for whatever reason now, using some kind of forceful, once the shadow is in my crease, I can do these windshield wiper motions and it will actually blend out, but it is more force than I'm used to having to do. But for whatever reason with these products, once they're patted on and they're kind of glued in there, they can be blended, which doesn't really make sense to me, but I kind of just go with it. So I'm blending and focusing a little bit more on the outer part, doing sort of a swoopy motion and then going back and forth with windshield wipers. And again, you can see now that it is pretty well blended out and doesn't look as crazy as it first did when I put it on. Then to do my lid, I go ahead and go in with this really nice gold color, which you can tell it's gotten a lot of use out of because I do like it. And I'm going to be using my Coastal Scents BRB S07. It has this really nice, oh, there's a piece of hair on it. That's cute. It just has this really nice, point to it, flat part that I can put my shadow onto mine. And again, I dig pretty heavily in here to get a good amount of product on there. And I do tap it a little bit. There's not as much fallout with this. And I go ahead and on my lid, I just pat it on there. Now that I have the shadow on both my eyelid and in my crease, there's this kind of clear separation between the two of them. So to help balance that out, I go with my blending brush and I pat a little bit on here, and I just go back in and do the windshield wiper motions to sort of just mesh them together and stop the stark sort of contrast that's happening with them. Okay, so then the last color that I'm using, or shade that I'm using, is this really pretty pearlescent color right up here. And I found that this one tends to work really well just using my finger, and I'm going to use it as an eyebrow. So I put some on my finger, and then I go up into the arch, and I just pat a little bit on there, and then I do it on the other side. And it just, for me, creates a nice highlight that I like, nothing too extravagant at all. Then to finish up the look, I'm using this Punker, it's the world's baddest eyeliner in black. It's just a felt tip liner. This stuff is, it's just okay. I don't love it, but it's also not terrible. I don't think it's as good as the Be a Bombshell liner that I really, really like. So I just pull my eye tight, and then I try to create as thin a line on my lash line as possible. And then I go back and I just fill it in, any parts that I don't feel are black enough or close enough to my lash line. And then I go ahead and I repeat the process on my other eye. Okay, now that I have my eyeliner all done, I'm gonna do my waterline. I have been loving the NYX Wonder Pencil in, I believe this is light, the lightest shade that they have, just to kind of brighten my eyes. I've been really liking this look. It feels like an extra step, but it really does look nice, so I've just been doing that. So I go ahead and I pull it down and I just go along the waterline. And then I do it on the other side. And there we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and curl my eyelashes. I've been looking for a new eyelash curler because this one is just really old and I feel like it's time to get a new one. So if you guys have any tips or recommendations for selecting a new one, let me know in the comments below because I just don't even know how to go about this. For mascara, I've been using the Too Faced Better Than mascara. This is pretty nice. I'm almost out of this sample. I'm not sure if I will make the purchase because I've got like a bajillion mascaras to go through. But I just like the look of the lashes that it gives. This was a good use, I feel, of my Sephora 100-point perk. The only problem I'm having with it now is I've been using it, I don't know, probably for about 2.5, 3 weeks, I think. And it's starting to definitely get kind of clumpy. That's the word. Sorry, it's hard to talk and get the lashes looking good. Kind of clumpy, so I think it's to the end of its life. So I may have to accept that and throw it into an empties video. Okay, so give you just a close-up of my eyes. This is how they look. And so I thought I would throw in for you guys just the rest of my face so you can see how I do that. There was a request recently to do a bronzer, how I use bronzer on my pale skin, so I thought I would combine this into like a 2-for-1 tutorial. The bronzer that I use the most is this Park Avenue Princess from Tarte Amazonian Clay. I was skeptical at first to try this, but upon recommendations, people said it was really good, that it would work. I thought I would give it a try. This was a kit or a duo. I got it for, I want to say $10 at Sephora. I don't know if that's accurate. I will link it below if I can find it. If I can find it for you guys. It isn't super scary dark. When I put it on my skin, you guys can see and a little bit on there, which is what I like about it. And I use 2 different brushes to do this. I use just this Eco Tools. It's like just like a fluffy face brush. I think it might be their blush brush, but that's not what I use it for. And then I use the e.l.f. small tapered brush as my 2 like bronzing weapons. And I personally would like to do my bronzer first, then I do my blush, then I do my highlight. I don't know if that's the right order, or if there is even a thing as a right order, but you can do it however you would like to. And the first thing I do is I just swoop it in, and I go ahead and I do my chin, just right around my chin area, and I do it just to kind of warm up my face and kind of define my jaw. You guys can see it a little bit here, and it does definitely create a contrast, so I like to make sure that I blend it out so it doesn't look crazy. So you've got that, and you can definitely see, you know, my jawline is enhanced. At least I think I can see it. I don't think I'm a bronzing expert. And then I dip it in again, and I pull back on my hair, and I do just along my hairline again, just to warm up my face. I dip in again, and I do just right around the temples right here. And you can see that I've created a bit of a, let me sit center so you guys can actually see me. You can see that I've created just a little bit of a shadow on there to kind of, again, create a nice little bit of a contour. And then I go ahead and do the other side. The biggest key, I think, with bronzer is just to make sure that it's blended out so you don't have like a muddy or strange looking kind of bronzed look to your face. So this is it. This is what I've done here. And then the last thing I do, and this is what I do with my tapered brush, is I like to do the hollows of my cheeks. So there's a couple ways you can do it. You can pull your face and you can see right along here that you've got like the hollow of your cheek, or you can just, once you do it long enough, you'll find that natural hollow anyways, and you'll go ahead and put some in there. So I just take a small amount, nothing too extreme, and I go along my line here like this. And you can see at this point that I've got a clear line of bronzer, which I don't necessarily like the look of. I think it's a little harsh, especially for a school teacher. So I just blend it, and that's why I like this brush, is it fits really nicely in here to create. You can see that I have done, you know, you can definitely see the definition here, but you don't see a super harsh line, which is, I think, really important with bronzer. And I'll go ahead and do it again. The other thing you want to make sure is that you don't pull this too far down, because then that just looks, in my opinion, kind of weird and not a look that I'm going for. And that's how I do my bronzer. The other bronzer that I like that I don't have to show you because it's in Boston already is the Body Shop Honey Bronzer. Stuff is really nice. It's lighter than this. If you think this might be too dark for you, I would suggest swatching it. And again, getting the duo, if they still have it, that's a great way to use this. I mean, I've been using this now for, I think, months at least. And I've barely, I mean, it doesn't even look like I've used a ton of product in here. So I'm excited about that. All right, now to blush. I have been trying out this Maybelline Fit Me blush. This is in the shade Light Mauve. I'm still feeling it out. It's kind of just a love-hate right now. I feel like I have to dig like really aggressively in here just to get a little bit of product off of it. And I'm just going to go ahead and sweep it onto the apples of my cheeks and pull it back. You know, you can kind of look and see like, it's just not super pigmented, which is my only problem with it. I got this through a trade, so I don't feel bad about having it, or like that I wasted money on it, but it definitely is a product that I have to build up onto my cheeks, but I do like this kind of mauve-y color. Next up is Old Faithful Benefit Watts Up. I have just used the heck out of this. I do some right here on my Cupid's bow. I do it along my nose and along my cheekbones. And I just kind of pat it out using my finger so it's not as stark. And there it is. I have just a nice, you know, shimmer. I love it. I think it's wonderful. This stuff is just my absolute favorite highlighter ever. Now on to lips. I do always put lip product on in the morning. Do I always keep applying it during the day? No. So I've got this Revlon Just Bitten Kissable in Honey, which is super pretty. It's minty. I think it's a really pretty color. And on top of that, I have this Benefit Dandelion gloss sample, which I think is the perfect amount of lip gloss. And oh, this also tastes really good. And this is my finished face. So pretty. I will definitely straighten my hair. It is all kinds of crazy, but that's it for me, guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you like this tutorial and want to see more tutorials. This is the first one I've done in a while where I've talked through it, and I feel kind of weird talking to these because I feel like I just babble to you guys, but if you prefer this better than a voiceover, let me know in the comments below, and if you guys have any other tutorial requests, let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!